Hi, my name is Ryan and welcome to The Healthy Home. If you're thinking about designing a home or currently designing one, you're in the right place. I'm here today to talk to you about the top 5 causes that lead to an unhealthy home. What is an unhealthy home? An unhealthy home is effectively a home that does not work for the family. This could be for many reasons. Top 3 reasons would be it technically does not work for the family and it doesn't generate an environment that is expected, and actually, ironically, can actually be unhealthy for them to physically live in. Secondly, that it could cost more. It could have cost more to run. It could have cost more to build, causing stress. And thirdly, it could be that you're not meeting the green targets that you set. This could be for many reasons that the building, mainly because of the top two reasons. It's that it's not being run correctly and it's not being designed correctly for the family that is involved. So what are the top 5 things that cause an unhealthy home? Firstly, poor documentation. When you go out to tender, poor documentation is probably one of the most #1 things that will cause the home to be wrongly priced for, which will then mean it will be wrongly built. How you avoid this is by appointing the correct professional bodies to generate a very good set of tender documents to allow the contractor to price against. And above all, if something does go wrong, then you have something to stand by and you can ask the contractor to put things right. And if you've put the contract together properly, there will be a sum of money, and if they don't want to put things right, there will be a sum of money that allows you to employ someone else to put things right. Next reason is ventilation. Ventilation is probably one of the most important things to get right in a new build home. We have started to seal our homes so tight that they're effectively becoming a fishbowl. This has meant that we need to now make sure we ventilate the space correctly. Unfortunately, building regulations actually still allows you to not ventilate a space correctly, because in theory people will use trickle vents and windows, but in practice we know that this does not occur. Unfortunately, not much has been done about this, and hopefully when the new building regulations do get issued, that this will be a loophole that gets closed up. But until then, it's down to ourselves to make sure we design homes correctly. So how do you avoid this? Well, firstly, you need to design it correctly, make sure it's installed correctly, and then make sure it's commissioned and maintained correctly. I know it sounds a little bit over the top, but it's probably the most important part of your house, because it is your lungs, effectively. Whatever that MVHR, how that performs, is how your lungs and your family will perform in the future. Thirdly is drainage. Unfortunately, drainage is one of the most annoying things if it is installed incorrectly, because there is no real way to actually solve it unless you install mini pumped systems. It is a relatively simple service. It requires draining. It requires drainage to be drained via gravity, but because you're using gravity, you have to make sure things line up correctly to ensure that you have the vertical stack and then you have branches. If you have 2 longer branches, you have a problem with you'll have a problem when you drain into your stack. But what often happens is a layout might actually have a bathroom above an open plan living room. So things need to use gravity. How do you drain that properly? So it just requires, how you avoid this is just requiring a bit of a check before you go to tender, just to see if the design will work. It may require a few rooms to be moved around, but above all, it makes a much better design in the long run. Program is the next one. So why is program on the list? I mean, you'd think that things will get done properly and wouldn't cause any problems. But one of the biggest things that causes it is that there's not enough time left in the design stage. Because clients get their plot of land, they get planning, and they want to start building as soon as possible. It sounds very counterintuitive to then wait and make sure the building is properly designed before even setting foot on site. There's always going to be risk, but if you have a very tight program, it will involve a client taking on a lot more risk than they probably are aware. This means that things have not been fully designed or even partially designed up to 80%, which we would normally recommend. And this leads to the contractor finding problems on site. And once a wall's been built, it is very hard to move it. Well, it's very easy to move it on a CAD drawing. So it's very important that you sit down with your team and map out a decent delivery program to make sure that everybody, design and then construction team, are working from the same hymn sheet. Maintenance in a new build home is very important. Unlike previous homes you might have lived in, systems have got a lot more complicated than just a simple combi boiler. The key things you need to maintain are the filters in your MVHR unit, and if you have a boiler or an air source heat pump, make sure that is serviced annually. The main problem is when you get handed over the building, you should be given an O&M's manual, which is an operation and maintenance manual. And more often than not, this is not done correctly or put in a form that only, unless you spend hours trying to read it to understand it, it should at least have in there your annual maintenance schedule, and then it gives you a much better understanding of what your responsibilities are taking the building forward, and when you need to it's much better to do proactive maintenance than reactive maintenance. One of the key things to keep maintained is your MVHR unit, which has its own filters, and removing those filters and cleaning them on a regular basis will make sure that your building can still breathe correctly. Another one is if you've got an air source heat pump or a boiler, to make sure that they get maintained on an annual or whenever whatever the manufacturer's recommendations is, just to make sure that they keep up to their efficiency, and also particularly if you've got gas, to make sure that is actually safe every year. Hope you found this video useful. If you have, please click subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, or visit our website and send me an email or give us a ring. If you'd like to know more about the Healthy Home Movement, please visit our website. If you'd like to join the Healthy Home Movement, which is a small community of self-builders and architects and engineers, please visit our website and click join. Please remember, if you're going to build a home, please build a healthy home. Thank you.